Hi there. I'm Laura Gavins. I'm the Chief Color Alchemist at Purl Talk and Dyed Yarns. How did you get into dyeing yarn? I grew up in an immigrant family where fiber arts were taught from an early age by my mom and my grandmother. It was a tradition in the family. When I was growing up, I loved being out in nature. I was climbing trees and picking flowers and figuring out how things worked. I loved color. I loved creating. That was my childhood. As I grew up, I became a chemist and spent most of my early career in product development and in medical device. Then right around that same time, I picked up the knitting needles again, and as I took off in my knitting, I then didn't see the colors that I wanted, and it all kind of snowballed from there. What inspires your dye palette? Bold, saturated color. The outdoors, like the flowers, weather. I was always picking wildflowers as a kid. The third thing, and this is probably the overarching thing, is the mid-century modern era. I was a child of the 70s and the 80s, but I kind of grew up with those colors. Our house, in fact, was built in 1964. And it's complete with a bomb shelter, believe it or not. But I do like to pull colors from that period. It just kind of brings me back to my childhood and some good memories, fond memories. So in terms of color and yarn-based names, some of them are just pretty standard color names. But I love a quippy name with meaning. Like fuzzy thinking. It's that fuzzy mohair silk that just adds this fuzzy halo to anything you put it in your knitwear. Brush suri with silk. And that one became yes siree, because here in the Midwest we say, why, yes siree Bob. And that just hit right with me. A third thing I would say is music. I just have such a broad, eclectic musical tastes. And I'm listening to music probably 95% of the time. So you will see names like like Judy Blue Eyes. That was named after David Crosby passed away from Crosby, Stills and Nash. Steely Dan is named after Steely Dan. I've got a yarn base named You Soxy Thing after You Sexy Thing from Hot Chocolate in the 1970s. So my approach to dyeing yarn is from the perspective of a color-loving chemist. I mostly kettle dye my yarns, and I do it wearing a chemist's hat. I found that by adjusting the temperature and the pH of the solution and the timing of adding the dye, you can get some really interesting effects, some glazed effects, some real depth to the color in your yarn. And I love knitting with that kind of yarn. What are some of the most unexpected things about having a yarn dyeing business? The most unexpected thing is how much time I spend doing dishes and washing yarn. Things pile up. It's crazy. It's to the point where my husband does all the kitchen dishes because he recognizes how much time I spend washing dishes in my business. And I was actually thinking about changing my title from Chief Color Alchemist to Dishwashing Queen, because it's a lot. So the other most unexpected thing is that for a person who absolutely loves color, I wear almost exclusively gray and black. And why, you might ask? It's because I am a sloppy mess in the dye studio. I can't be expected to keep things clean, and especially not on my clothes. So I do have a friend who says that she can dye with a white t-shirt on, and that is just not me. I'm a mess. Now you know who I am. In fact, if you look at my logo, My logo it says Purl Talk, and then it has a circle around it. And that circle represents a skein of yarn. And then if you look on it, there's these splatters everywhere. And that represents the mess and the splattering of dye that I make every time I get into the dye studio. So on that note, I just wanted to say thank you so very much for spending a little bit of time with me, getting to know me, and to know Purl Talk. And for more information, you check up on our website, purltalk.com. And thank you so much.